I'm gonna watch it for y'all, so you lot don't have to. I'm your bestie. I'm your bestie. What's up, rebels? My name is Willy. I'm from the UK. I am one half of Leo and Willy. We are a couple. We are queer.
Yes, queen.
And today I am here to dissect and live react Arielle Scarcella's recent queerphobic rant. I'm gonna watch it for you guys, so you don't have to. I'm your bestie. I'm your bestie. Also, rebels, I'm probably gonna get loads of hate from Aria's peeps, so if you see them chatting crap, do not go for them. I honestly do not care. It's not that important to us. Let them comment along. In fact, do me a favor and reply back the alphabet.
R-S-T-U-V.
Let's let people know that we don't enjoy people like Arielle Scarcella who make people feel horrible as part of their living. Find a better hobby. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I'm hot and I am bi and I have mental illness.
Have you ever wondered what it's like being married to a gender fluid person? Every day I make a habit of asking them what their gender is. They answer between the numbers 1 and 10, 1 being more masculine, 10 being more feminine, or they just simply answer neither. So when I asked this today, they answered work.
Indeed. We do have a ton of work to do. Why do all of these people think alike, dress alike, look alike? Well, socially...
You know, when people think of people who are queer and, you know, I know she's going to say social justice warriors or whatever, but people who are queer, they think of them like, you know, quite tattooed up, quite eccentric looking, quite... kind of like Arielle herself. Interesting.
I spoke about this in a video a few weeks ago. I'll have that linked in the description below for you guys. But mentally, I think the answer is mental illness. Borderline personality disorder being one of those issues. And we're going to talk about that today.
Oh, she's already going to diagnose us. Arielle Scarcella is going to play doctor again. She has a habit of saying, I have a friend who's a doctor, I have a friend who's a this, so I am almost certain we're going to hear about a friend or someone who's a doctor who is going to affirm all her views.
Welcome to another psychological deep dive. Now, one of the ways we are able to diagnose somebody with a mental illness, and this is therapists and doctors included, is by recognizing patterns that they have that are similar to others with that same mental illness. And now in saying that, I am not a doctor.
Thank you so much for letting us know, because we weren't sure.
Borderline personality disorder is something that is usually there for years, right? Usually stemming from starting in childhood. The two main issues that we see quite frequently in this are instability and impulsivity. You know, impulsivity, like, I don't know, rapid onset gender dysphoria, or doing absolute...
Pause. Pause. This is... I can't stand this. This whole mental health trope. People who are queer, people who are trans, suffer with mental health is not new. It's what used to be done to people like Arielle, lesbian, binary queer people, binary lesbians, binary, whatever she prefers to call herself. This is the same language. You are absorbing language of people who used to push you down, have now found a way to create more the division between communities and now using the same rhetoric. Like, how is that? I don't understand that. I don't understand the reusing rhetoric of people who used to hurt you. Where's the lesson there? What are you learning? What are you trying to teach? And what do you gain by this? I mean, monetization, of course, but to sell out your soul this much, that's ridiculous, because this is just bullshit that people used to say back in the days about lesbians and gay people. And I am not trans, so I'm very interested to say what crazy thing, you know, you're gonna diagnose me with. What am I gonna be diagnosed with now? Like, it's just silly. It's just silly.
No research on a political or social justice trend and hopping onto it just because it's popular at that moment.
Speaking of just because it's popular at the moment, you know what else is popular? Videos like yourselves amongst conservatives. It actually really drives and creates a lot of monetization. So I find it interesting that you are saying people are doing things just because it's popular when it kind of feels the same. Self, Blair White, let's be real. You are the puppets that the conservatives love, the right-wing people love, because they can use you as mouthpieces, and you sell your soul because monetization is way more important to you than anything else, right? I just find it interesting. I think it's so interesting because there are a lot of things that are popular. Popular doesn't always mean like the best in this situation. Popular is in a lot is happening regularly. Yeah, you gain views and popularity within conservatives and right-wing communities by posting content like this. So aren't you just doing the same thing? Or are you exempt from your own rhetoric? I don't know. Just think about it. Let it simmer, let it sit, add a little spice.
My labels, identities, pronouns vary day to day, minute to minute, based on how much I feel like explaining myself, how much I feel like confusing people, and how tired I am.
This might be a hot take, but
how is that not obvious that it's a joke? It's just like things are going over your head and you're utilizing them with serious arguments when the people inside these arguments are joking. This is a really poor video. If you're going to use examples, I think you should have maybe found examples that weren't clear jokes. And even if this is the way the person feels, I mean, the reason why I know it's a joke is because of the delivery. It's the inflection at the end, just real common things that people can listen to and can recognize and then can hear the ha LOL in. And so I don't understand why you're using LOL for serious arguments. It doesn't make any sense.
instead of calling it non-binary, we should just start calling it nonsense because it makes a zero.
Girl, shut the fuck up. You thought you ate that?
As a community, they cannot even get behind a set definition on this label.
Not non-binary as in yeet the teat. Non-binary as in would sometimes like remove and set aside and sometimes would like put back.
Instability in.
Pause. So you're saying that as a community, they cannot come up with a definition, but it feels like that person very clearly came up with one. So what you're basically trying to say is that the definition is above your understanding, it's above your pay grade. That's fine, that's perfectly fine. Maybe the issue isn't them explaining their identity, maybe it's your ability to understand.
I even posted a video about this on TikTok the other day. If you're not following me on there, go do so. I just started posting. And that video was making fun of the current dating pool situation. Instability with family.
I have no contact with my family. All of them. Siblings, parents, cousins, everybody. I had to go through an intense dumpster full of guilt.
Regardless of what most of these people...
I think that's really insensitive. I think regardless of where you stand, I imagine you're not someone who's like, I'm not queer, I'm lesbian, and that's super important to you. Okay, whatever. So you're someone who's a lesbian. I feel like you can still resonate with other lesbians who have had to leave their families, desert their families, leave their families behind for the sake of safety and for the sake of self-preservation. So I don't really understand in any aspect just making fun of anyone who has to break ties with their family, like in any aspect, whether they were trans or bi or non-binary, lesbian, whatever identity is. What about that is so interesting to you, or so like it's so exploitative? What about that feels so exploitative to you that you would use someone's literal misfortune as what? Information, clout, as a pastime, as an example? Nothing about that is morally correct. We can have different overall views. We could have different views that are, shaped between, that are, shaped from our personal lives and our political lives and whatever stance we stay on. But as human beings at the very core, surely empathy is what drives us all. I don't care whether someone's left or right. If someone's in a situation where they have to leave their family behind because it's not safe for them, I don't understand what's funny about that. Like, I don't really understand what about that is content worthy. Stop turning people's misfortune into content. What a twat.
Will say about themselves. I honestly don't think they have a consistent understanding of who they are and what they're capable of.
In my bio, I have the pronouns they, them, unless a pink heart and then a blue heart. Purple for they, them, like non-binary, pink for girl and blue for boy, right? I'd like you all to use they, them for me unless I say otherwise, because for the most part, I always feel somewhere on the non-binary spectrum.
They are constantly searching.
I'm almost certain that the reason why this person is blurred is because they're a minor. Let's unpack that, shall we? Yeah, I have actually come back from holiday recently and I should unpack that. So I find it interesting that a lot of people who share similar views as Arielle use this under the guise of protecting children and trying to make children feel safe and making the world a better place for the children. But it's always children that they use to mock. I don't understand that. You blurring their faces out doesn't change the fact that you are utilizing, exploiting, and making minors content for the sake of monetization. You are personally exploiting minors. Isn't that the whole thing that your personal community stand against? Isn't that like your whole thing of, you know, we have to stop the leftists from hurting the children? How are you not hurting the children? Like, whoever that person is, you know, they would probably be able to recognize themselves. I imagine you have not asked for permission from this child, literal child, but they're on your video and you have a huge platform, 67k. People have already watched it from when I'm looking right now, and it's 9 days ago. So I'm just trying to understand, what are you doing that's actually helping the children? And how are you improving the mental health of anyone attached to this? I don't agree with any of your crap, just to be very clear, but I feel like at the very least, human decency should trump our own political beliefs, our own, you know, those things just don't matter when it comes to, this is a human being in front of us, this is a child, but for you, they're just content. So what is this? Is this for the children, or is it using the children to gain more conservative friends and subs so you can monetize and fill your own pockets? What are you doing this for? What are your real motivations? Because it doesn't feel like this video was put out to, you know, teach the world about BPD and teach the world about mental health. It feels like you are just utilizing a community that are already struggling, that are dealing with so much right now, because it will fill your pockets. But yeah, I don't know, whatever helps you sleep at night.
Any other mental illness, borderline personality disorder is a spectrum, right? It can be minute to the extreme. I recently spoke to a therapist friend of mine who focused...
I've been waiting for it. I told you, there's always a therapist friend. You try to remove yourself and distance yourself from those queers, those people, because let's be real, you monetize from the people who are like, okay, this is the cool lesbian, this is the one we can hang out with.
Not like a regular mom, I'm a cool mom.
But, I mean, that's what they're saying to your face anyway. It's cool. Like, I don't know about the group chats though, sis. This is a bit much.
A quick note from a therapist friend of mine. People with borderline personality disorder typically have identity confusion ranging from mild to extreme. The lack of a developed identity can make the idea of having a certain and stable identity very appealing, since identity is an anchor for stability in one's thoughts, behaviors, emotions, etc. People with borderline personality disorder are often very black and white thinkers, like narcissists. Either you are with me or against me.
That's a very common thing that I hear from like trans medicalism, true scum, very like, that's those right-wing, more conservative views around trans people or queer people in general. It's that, you know, they're narcissists. You know, it's just about what they feel and how they feel. And I'm like, no. We are very aware that we coexist. Now, see, for me, it doesn't make sense, because either we're these narcissists who are on these solo missions and it's either you're with us or you're against us, or we're this community who are so together and so alike that we look the same and are the same. Like, we can't be both, Arielle. Which ones are we? You know? I don't think that we are all just a bunch of narcissists who are somehow also all part of this really great community who also enjoy hanging out with each other. It kind of feels like the narcissists are the ones like yourself who, I don't know, use children and then exploit them and then pretend it's for the children, and really it's for monetization. You're trying to find these weird parallels and you're really pushing them together in a way that's really dangerous and not okay to do. You can have your own belief systems, and that's something that, like, I truly believe everyone can have. Whether I agree with you is a whole different matter, to be very clear. If I haven't been so, I am not in agreement with you at all. But I feel like we have to find ways to coexist in healthier ways. I think this video of just going, well, you know, trans people who really want their identity affirmed, which is a very common thing if you wake up every single day not looking how you feel inside. That would make sense. If I woke up one day and was like a dude, I'd be a bit confused because it wouldn't be me. So whilst I'm not trans, I can at least empathize with how it would make me feel. And that just feels like a human experience for me. That doesn't feel like, you know, I have to break my back or change my whole moral code, or, you know, I'm a social justice warrior because I've showed empathy for another human being. It's just being kind. I don't understand why we're using mental health, which, by the way, I have depression. I'm happy to discuss it. There's another video. I imagine you're going to go through it and use it if you do respond. But I just don't understand why it's being used as this, firstly, as such a negative thing. Having mental health is obviously not the best, bad mental health is obviously not the best thing in the world, but I do think we need to find kinder ways of speaking about it just in general. It's not an easy thing to have, and it's not something someone just chooses to have. So firstly, if you don't have BPD, then maybe include someone who does have BPD, or, you know, the friend, have them sit in this video and give a little bit more of a well-rounded respect and response to that, you know, personality disorder just in general. I think this is all very nitty and gritty and very picky, and it's in a way that's incredibly insensitive and doesn't actually do the topic justice in itself, let alone the poor parallel system that you're trying to do. Being trans and being BPT are do different things. You know, people can be both, but they're not direct correlations. And clearly you don't believe that. I imagine your friend couldn't come on here and actually say that without being sued, because it would be a lie. So if it's a lie and it's not something that you can actually get someone to say, why are you trying so hard to make this happen? Are you expecting this to go into university degrees and people to study this? Is this a theory you're really presenting? Or is this just a 14-minute monetization scandal of let's just hurt people for the sake of hurting people? Why do you wake up and choose to be that? Why can't you just wake up and choose to be a kinder person? I don't get that. I just don't get it. You have a large audience, and if they find this video, that's going to be out of an echo chamber. That's what it means. So what are you talking about? Like, most of what you're saying makes no sense, and most of what you're saying is incredibly insensitive. And that's not just, oh, a queer person being super insensitive, or a queer person being hurt, or I don't know, whatever jokes you guys make, something about me identifying as a helicopter, I don't know, something like that. But I don't feel those things. I don't actually feel angry for you. I feel sad for you. I feel like only sad people hurt other people this much. I feel like there's something within yourself that you need to deal with. And I think if you were truly happy, then you wouldn't like and enjoy hurting people this much. That's what I believe. Because when I'm not feeling my best, and, you know, when I wasn't in my best space, I didn't have the emotional capacity to really empathize with those around me. I was in my own little bubble, and it feels like you are in that same case. In fact, you have a little bit of BPD in you yourself. Go talk to your friend about it. All right, darling? Bye.